Got a bow review coming. Bow review time. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're bringing you another bow review. It's the much anticipated brown box special, known to you guys affectionately as the 2025 Mathews Lift X. Let's get to it. All right, guys, let's see what it looks like. The new 2025 Mathews Lift X. This one is going to be in the new shale color. For those of you that are Mathews fans and miss the old stone color like myself, this should be a pretty close representation. First impressions, the color's sweet, and I'm a sucker for any sort of textured finish. That means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it's the little things in life. So we'll take it from the top. First things first, it looks a lot like a standard lift, which I brought one home so you guys can see a comparison on those side by side. The key takeaways new for 2025, which I'll go over again here in a minute, is going to be the new Bond grip system, which offers 3 different grip sizes, maybe 4. Fact check me on that. The obvious thing that most people have heard about and are all buzzed about is the limb shift technology here from Mathews. So going to give you the ability to drive that limb left and right to affect your cam changes as far as cam lean, shimming, basically taking the place of the top hat system that a lot of people have grown pretty familiar with and pretty easy to use. But it's not going to be as easy to use as this. So we will get into, like I said, that limb shift technology just a little bit. Might do a full length review on that portion of it separately. But anywho, here we are, 2025 Mathews Lift X. That's the Lift X. Here we have a standard lift, a 2024 lift. So I know a lot of folks liked when I put the 2 bows side by side on my Hoyt video for the new RX9. If you haven't seen that, please check it out. So I'm gonna try to do that as much as I can on bow reviews going forward if I have the ability to show both the current year and the New Year's model bow. So 2024 lift 29.5, 2025 Lift X 29.5. The first thing you'll notice is they look almost identical. Risers seem to be the same. Cams seem to be the same. Obviously the way the cams mount is going to be the same with the exception of the new limb shift technology. The new lift, the 2025 lift, does have Arc 7 limb technology in it now. Basically Mathews heard, as did everyone else in the bow industry, the complaints about the 2024 lifts having some limb issues. They completely reworked the entire limb design and have shored that up. So time will tell if that's indeed better, but usually when Mathews corrects something, they actually correct it. So you'll be able to buy with confidence, hopefully not sweat that. And for those of you who are still considering a standard lift, do not let the limb issue concern you. They fixed the limbs and they're also extending a lifetime warranty, as most people have heard, to the first time buyer, the next time buyer, the buyer after that, the buyer's family member that buys it later. If you ever have limb issues, you take it to a Mathews dealer, they will get you sorted out free of charge. So buy with confidence on either of the bows. That's how you fix a problem and stand behind your product. But I digress. Let's talk about this. All right, so real quick, I'm gonna go over the specs again. I briefly brushed on that at the beginning of the video, so now we'll kind of go over them one more time. 2025 Mathews Lift X. Riser's the same from last year. Limb profile is the same from last year, but it is a new limb system, like I just mentioned, so that's all good. Cams look to be exactly the same. I believe they are the same from last year's models. Still going to use the same switch weight mods that the Lift used, so that's good. New grip. The Bond grip is something that I'm honestly very excited about as a guy that's never really agreed with the factory Mathews grips that much, and I've got Whopper Junior hands, so certain aftermarket grips don't really work in my hand because they're a little too big. I'm pumped about this. I'm going to play with the few different sizes or the few different options that they offered in and kind of see which one I like best. Looking forward to that, especially if I end up shooting this bow for my 2025 bow, because I'll get to spend a lot more time with those grips, figure out which one I kind of like the best and go from there. So I'm really, really looking forward to the fact that they offered that. It's a small thing, but that's the only way you're attached to the bow aside from release to loop. So it's really important to have a grip that you're comfortable with and repeatable. And I'm looking forward to playing with that. Last but not least, like I said, most of this stuff is going to be the same from last year's bow to this year's bow, with the exception of the limb shift technology. I know that's the big one that's got a lot of people interested. Haven't had a chance to tune one yet because we just got them in. So going forward, I'll probably follow up and do another video specifically talking about this. I'll touch on a little bit of it here in a minute, but specifically going into more detail on that. But it does essentially drive the limb left or right, closing the gap that's in the top here at the axle, just as if you were going to a smaller top hat or a larger top hat, the same way it would move it over. So it's taking place of the top hat system, giving you the ability to really, truly, actually micro tune your cam and your basically micro tune your shot. With that being said, it's similar in concept to the Bowtech deadlock system. So those of you that are Bowtech deadlock system fans, but not always necessarily Bowtech fans, which I think a lot of people fall into that category, you ought to be pretty excited about this. It should really change the dynamic of tuning these bows. Not that they were hard to tune with the top hats before, but there's definitely been times, and anybody that's tuned a lot of the Mathews with the top hat system have found there's times when you fall between top hat sizes. This is set up to alleviate that, so time will tell if it does, but usually Mathews is pretty good about making sure stuff is jam up and jelly tight before it's released. All right, so now what most people came here for, I'm gonna put a rest on it, put a loop on it. We're gonna shoot it a little bit and kind of get some initial thoughts. Gonna use a whisker biscuit like I did on my RX9 video and like I've used on my review videos in the past. I know that's not what most people are running, but it keeps everything consistent for the videos. I have it set 29 inches, 70 pounds. For those of you that watch my RX9 video, that's extremely close to the specs that I shoot, so it's easy enough for me to shoot. And it's a fairly common size for most folks. So the speeds that I'll put on the screen or in the description later will be at 29 pounds, be at 29 inches, 70 pounds, and 29 inches, 60 pounds, just like I did on my Hoyt video. That seemed to work really well for a lot of folks, so we're gonna keep running with that. So got the rest on it, got the loop on it. Now we're gonna shoot it and see what it feels like. If it feels different than last year's model, if we're being honest, I don't think most folks would be buying it expecting it to feel different. They'd most likely be buying it because of a lot of the new features. So let's see how it feels. Kind of seems like it's scooting. All right, let's shoot it again. It's pretty dead in the hand. I mean, kind of what you expect at this point from these top tier manufacturers on their flagship models. You expect them to be pretty quiet. You expect them to be pretty much dead in the hand or fairly dead in the hand. First takeaway is definitely dead in the hand. Pretty dang smooth at the shot. I wasn't paying that much attention to it initially. And it seems fairly quick. I think if I remember correctly, it says IBO is 348. On this bow, if I remember correctly. I'm sure somebody out there will fact check me, so toss it in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 348, so we will be chronoing it here in a minute with a few different arrow weights to see what kind of speeds it has compared to the Lift last year, which, like I said, I brought so we can kind of shoot and get an apples to apples comparison. I don't know, it kind of eats the vibration pretty well. You don't really notice any, and that's with nothing on it. So once you had everything loaded onto it, the tiny bit that some people may think they feel would pretty much be gone. at the end of the day, we are shooting something. That energy has to go somewhere. So if you feel a little bit, don't sweat it. I'm not saying that like there's a bunch on this. I don't really feel like there is at all. But this is a regular lift. This is a 2024 lift, set to the exact same specs. See how it feels. Okay. All right, I'm gonna shoot it again. I don't need to say what I was about to say, but I'll bite my tongue, shoot it one more time, and let's see. Okay, so shooting that bow against the Lift X really, in my opinion, shows the difference, for lack of better terms. The Lift X has a fair bit less hand shock, felt vibration at the shot in comparison to the Lift. And the Lift was already a very dead in the hand bow and pretty vibration free, especially for being how light it is. But the Lift X has less vibration and less felt hand shock, which I was not really expecting it to be that big of a jump between the two, to be honest. That's why I brought one home to shoot it. The Lift feels noticeably better, and the Lift X, I should say, feels noticeably better than the standard Lift. And there's one other thing that's coming to mind. I'm gonna shoot this to verify, then I'll let y'all know. I was expecting it to feel a lot like the Lift, but the Lift X feels better. In the few places that it felt like the standard Lift from 2024 needed to be corrected, just like I said in the Hoyt video, it seems those are the places that the corrections were made. And I know a lot of people look at like what Hoyt released this year, or will look at what Mathews released this year and say, hey, well, it doesn't seem that much different. Well, it's not that much different, but it's different where it needs to be. The Hoyt, like I mentioned, was substantially faster than last year's bow, but still felt really good to shoot. Haven't shot this through the chrono yet. We're about to get ready to do that. But initial thoughts, it's a lot smoother to me through the draw cycle and noticeably less vibration, which is kind of wild because I didn't really think there was a ton in the Lift to begin with. But the Lift X has noticeably less vibration with nothing on it. It's literally got a whisker biscuit and a silent connect system on there. So there's nothing to absorb the energy at all or the vibration. We're about to set the chrono up because I was smart and actually remembered to bring it home this time. We'll set the chrono up. We'll shoot the Lift X. I've got a few different arrows. I'll put the exact numbers either on the screen or in the description, maybe in both places. And then I will shoot a couple of them out of the regular Lift too, just for a real world comparison for those of you that may have a Lift and are looking to upgrade. All right, so we got the chrono set up. We're about to shoot through that. The Mad Scientist Cade here, probably just gonna show you the first clip from each arrow and then do some super creative looking montage to speed things up, because I doubt you guys want to watch me shoot this many arrows that many times. The first round of these is going to be 29 inches at 70 pounds. Then I'm going to do 29 inches at 60 pounds. .274 with a 520 grain arrow. Okay, so we just got finished shooting it through the chrono. Look for all that information in the description box below, just like I did on my last video. Mad Scientist Young Cade here may be able to get it on the screen with his techno wizardry. If that's the case, you'll see it there as well. But on average, the Lift X was 3 to 4 feet per second faster with every arrow at 60 and 70 pounds in comparison to the 2024 Lift. Now, 3 to 4 feet per second isn't a huge jump, but when you couple that with the upgrades on the grip, the limb shift technology, the smoother draw cycle, and the less vibration, to me that makes a whole package that's a pretty big upgrade. Whether or not that upgrade's big enough, in your opinion, to justify purchasing one is a decision you guys will have to make. All I can say is absolutely shoot one. Even if you just bought a Lift, shoot this bow. It's better in the right ways. It's nothing, like I said, pictures and on paper, it's gonna look real similar to the Lift, so a lot of people might just write it off. I would advise against that. Shoot it, it's kind of impressive. I was not expecting to be impressed with the boat at all, full honesty, like I said earlier. I was expecting it to feel a lot like a regular Lift that just had limb shift technology, but it does not feel like that, in my opinion, at all. Needless to say, I was not planning on considering this bow for this year at all, because last year I shot the Lift and I liked it, but the RX-8 Ultra to me was that much better of a bow for me personally and the way I shoot. But I'm definitely gonna give this one a look. All right, guys, 2025 Mathews, did I hold that upside down? Lift X with the cool guy social media shot. Definitely get by your local Mathews dealer and shoot one. It's worth it, even if you have a Lift. Don't take my word on it. Just go pick one up and shoot it. If you're in the area, Southeast United States, come visit us, me, the Mad Scientist Young Cade, and my best buddy Bradley at Arrows Unlimited, or visit us online at arrowsunlimited.com. We can take care of all of your archery stuff. Quit building your own arrows. Quit hunting for stuff online. Just visit our website. We'll build your arrows. We'll ship them straight to your door. We'll send you accessories, components, and other things for your bows. And we have a full stock of Mathews Lift X, Hoyt RX9s, all the other Alpha AX2s, the new 2025 Elites, all of them. Come see us in the shop. Give them a shot. As always, I really appreciate you guys watching the video. It really wouldn't be as fun talking to the camera if you guys weren't on the other side of it. So, with that being said, check out your 2025 Lift X at your local Mathews dealer. Stick around for the next video.